that's how we end up. Shades of blue and grey. I feel just like an empty bottle. My dreams are on delay. I just wanna climb on top of a...
Hello and welcome back to the channel and another day of triathlon training. Basically, if you didn't know, I'm 1 week out from my first ever 70.3, which is Outlaw in Nottingham. It's sort of like the last big day, basically until the day. So 1 week out, it was a swim, bike, run day. Yeah, and I'll run you through the day basically. So started off, went out for my first open water swim in a wetsuit for 2 years. Literally the last time I put on this wetsuit would have been my Ironman 2 years ago. So we went down to a local lake called Triathlon in Fordham, which is like a 30-minute drive from me. Water was absolutely freezing. Planned to do a little bit longer than I did, but only managed like a mile. Shoulders were aching, lats were on fire. Probably should have got the wetsuit on a little bit more last year and maybe even this year, but glad I got it on and sort of had a bit of a test swim. I was been quite nervous because I remember last time when I first used a wetsuit swimming from a pool to open water, the same sort of thing happened. Your shoulders just start burning. It's a little bit restrictive. I'm a little bit sort of thicker, I suppose, in the upper body as well, so I like a little bit more restrictive. Sometimes struggle to breathe a little bit, especially since it was so cold as well. But I'm glad I got it done. At least I know what to expect for next week. So yeah, like I said, just did a mile, nice and easy. Gave it like a few sort of pickups, I suppose, just to kind of see what it would feel like. But yeah, got that done. Glad I did it. And then I went with my dad as well. So we then went over to, so there's this track in Colchester as well. So Colchester is where I live. It's like a 1 mile loop track. Really, really cool. Basically, I love riding my TT bike, but I hate doing it on roads for cars, potholes, being in TT bars, not having access to your brakes quick enough, all that sort of stuff. So where I can, I like to use this track. So we went down to there, and basically the session that I had planned was, what was it? It was like it was originally going to be like just over 2 hours with 2 by 45 minutes at like a tempo effort, which is usually around like 250-ish watts for me. We got there a little bit later than I'd hoped, so I kind of cut it short a little bit, cut the warm up, the cool down a little bit short, and did a 45 minutes at tempo, and then did a 35-minute tempo. Felt really good. TT position, I think, needs improving. I've been tinkering actually a little bit with it today, which I can maybe do another video on if you want to see that as like perfecting my TT position, I suppose. But as you can see from some of this footage, it's good, not great, but good. But yeah, it should be fine for next week anyway. So that session, yeah, felt really good. I'll put up the data. It was, I think, 38 miles in total, averaging 23 and something miles an hour. For the tempo efforts, I was averaging roughly around 25 miles an hour, but as you can see, there's some quite tight corners on this one. It's like a 1 mile loop, so there's like 1, 2, 3 sort of tight corners, so you can never really pick up too much speed. It's a lot of braking and starting again and surgy, but yeah, averaging around 25 miles an hour for the efforts, which if I can hold for a 70.3, I'd be super happy with. Anyway, got that session done. I'm glad that I managed to I haven't actually ridden my TT bike that much this year either. Again, just because I don't really like riding it on roads and stuff, so I'm glad that I managed to do sort of an extended effort on the TT bike in TT position as well, and it all felt fine. No sort of weird pains or aches. Sometimes you get it in your back of your neck or your lower back and stuff, so I got no aches and pains, which was really good. Legs felt strong, and then went on to a brick run. Luckily, there's this quite nice little run sort of circuit, which is, I think it's just over 1 kilometre long, right next to this track. So basically, shoes straight on, got changed, and then headed straight out for this run. And the session planned wasn't a massive session because, like I say, it's sort of tapering down a little bit now, but it was 2 by 10 minutes at tempo with a 2-minute recovery in between, then a 10-minute cool down, so 30 minutes in total. First 2 or 3 minutes felt horrendous. It always does. It feels like you can't run after coming off the bike. But after I settled in, the first 10-minute effort, I averaged maybe a 6:20, 25 mile per hour, minute per mile, I mean. First rep done. Running recently is feeling so good. That's probably averaging 6:15, 6:20 minute per mile. Felt comfy, probably not what I'll hold for a race, but felt comfy. 1 more minute,
then back in for another 10 minutes. Feeling super solid. And I forgot my gels. So all of this has been like without fuel. Not bad. Not bad.
And it felt better as I was sort of going through it. And yeah, and then got that first one done. Then the second one felt really good. I was averaging 6:02 or 3 minutes per mile for the second one. And it felt like a tempo effort. Usually, if I'm going at that sort of speed, it's definitely starting to feel more threshold. But that felt, definitely could have carried on at that pace for a lot longer.
1 more minute of cool down. Run done. Get this done. Then I'll update you and round up the video shortly when I've recovered.
Heart rate was sort of borderline top end zone 3. Maybe kind of went into a little bit of zone 4 as well towards the end, but it all felt like a tempo-ish effort, and after being on the bike and stuff, usually your heart rate's a little bit higher, so super happy with how that went. Definitely means I'm in good form going into this next 70.3, which I've never done before, so not 100% sure what to expect, but I'm sure it'll be good. And yeah, I think you're pretty much all caught up to where we're at in the video now, so crack on from there.
Oh, it's a bit bouncy.
I don't know what. I just suppose that I'm gonna. I don't know.
Hang on, it's really bouncy.
So I'm gonna end the video here. I got home and had some food, and then Autumn and I decided that we were gonna go over to the spa and sit in the sauna and steam room. And then we ended up having a pint after as well. Probably not the best.
No, you can't say that. You're driving.
Can say that. You're allowed 1 pint.
Okay. I just don't want people
You've
to
just
think.
ruined that clip.
I just don't want people to think that we're dodgy.
So I hope you enjoyed that day of training. Like I say, it was the last sort of big day of training, a biggish day of training until Outlaw. 1 week out now. That's a lot of smoke coming from that vehicle. So yeah, going to be like taper week now, and then straight into the day, which I will obviously be filming. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please make sure you subscribe, drop any comments or questions you have down below, like the video.